Hi guys, I'm back with a new video. I'm sorry for the delay. Last week I had not been able to upload anything because of Diwali. Firstly, wishing you all a very happy belated Diwali. For those who are listening to me from out of India, Diwali is a very big festival of lights, a very big Hindu festival that we celebrate over here. It's celebrated almost by everyone, but it is a very big festival in India. Also marked as the starting of the new year in the Indian Hindu calendar. A very happy Diwali to all of my subscribers, my viewers. And without wasting too much time, let me start with this very short cytopathology video. It is a very different video. It is actually more of a discussion this time, and I'm going to show you some images. Some of them are repetitive images which you've seen before if you've attended my lectures. uh, my aim with this video is to show you the different infectious diseases that you can come across when performing an FNAC. Some of them are very common, like tuberculosis, and some of them are rare, but you will come across the spectrums at some point of time in your life. And what I want to discuss here is not individual diagnosis, but how different lesions will overlap on an FNAC slide and how you can differentiate them. So this is a very short lecture, just 8 slides. So moving ahead, here I read this paper and I found this paper very interesting. This was by David Muyanja et al. Diagnostic accuracy of FNAC in providing diagnosis of cervical lymphadenopathy among HIV infected patients. Do go ahead and read this paper because HIV, this is in my experience, as a disease mimics a lot of things. It is an immunocompromised condition. So you might have some other infection with HIV, or HIV in itself in FNACs of lymph node, etc., or even in bone marrow aspiration starts mimicking certain different lesions, and you will have a problem in making diagnosis. Most of the time you might not even think of HIV when the root cause of the disease can be HIV. So do go through this paper, this is very good. So coming to a spectrum of granulomatous infections, here I am trying to show you different types of findings in different type of you might call granulomatous lesions, or even lesions which have cells mimicking a granuloma but are actually not infections. So the first smear here is actually these are small ill-defined granulomas. Here you see epithelioid slipper shaped epithelioid cells, and they are almost trying to form cohesive clusters. Maybe they would have later on formed a giant cell. As of now they've not yet. They're trying to form a giant cell like somewhere over here, but this is a collection of epithelioid cells. So once you see this in Indian scenario, the first thing that comes in your mind is whether it is tuberculosis or not, and you have to rule out TB. Then there are other causes, like there are fungal infections which can present with granulomas. Sarcoid can present with a granuloma. Any other chronic infection can present as a granuloma. In cases of breast implants, etc., if there's a lump or a lesion and you do an FNAC, foreign body can induce granuloma and giant cell formation. So there are multiple causes of when you see a granuloma. These things should, screen through your mind, and then you can, prioritize the diagnosis which you want to confirm. So this is a AFB smear, and here you can see AFB Azeel-Nielsen positive acid-fast bacilli. This over here is a giant cell on a background of lymphocytes, and it's not classic Langerhans. So this can be of anything. This could be fungal, parasitic, tuberculosis, foreign body, response to drug. How will you differentiate? TB mostly has a lymphocytic infiltrate associated. Drug or fungal infestation, fungal will have more of neutrophils and few eosinophils. Drug reactions or parasitic reactions with the similar presentation have a lot of eosinophils. So this is how you'll have to train your mind to work. Here you see epithelioid cells, and then you see a fungal organism which you can confirm on silver stain or pus, etc. Here again another fungal organism, the capsule, and is well highlighted like a halo around the organism. Okay, same over here, you can see these fungal excuse me, over here, and then a epithelioid cell cluster, another high power of fungal organism with epithelioid cell clusters. Same over here in a giant cell formation. Here you can see the negative image of a fungal hyphae, and this here is a foreign body giant cell. All these are benign conditions. Now you see this cluster. Most of you, especially the first years, will call it a granuloma, and this is a granulomatous lesion. You can see it closely mimics these spindle cells. Now look more closely. They are spindled, looking like epithelioid, but more spindly and more tighter clusters. So to a trained eye, this is some sort of a lesion which can be malignant or soft tissue, benign or malignant lesion. So this is actually spindle cell cluster rather than an epithelioid cell granuloma, which can closely mimic a granuloma. What is this? This is an angiosarcoma. This is a Kaposi sarcoma. Pardon my mistake. This is a Kaposi sarcoma with these spindly, somewhat epithelioid, but actually spindly looking cells. If you cannot reach to the diagnosis of Kaposi's, at least you can reach to the diagnosis that this is not an infective lesion, but a soft tissue or a spindle cell lesion, to be very precise. So this I have put over here just to show you that all this is benign, but this is malignant. Necrosis. Now necrosis can be of various types. Necrosis over here you can see caseating. Then this is a cold abscess with a lot of polymorphic debris. Again, there is something known as Kikuchi's disease and Kimura's disease. Kimura's has a lot of eosinophilic infiltrate and abscess. Kikuchi's has a lot of debris, degeneration, and very few polymorphs, or maybe absence of polymorphs, but a lot of debris and degenerated cells with a mixed population of cells. So this is a spectrum of necrotic disease. So whenever you get necrosis, think of TB in India first and then rule out other diseases. Go for a culture, go for AFB, as is the protocol. Fungal spores and hyphae I've shown you before. These are LD bodies. In a macrophage, this is capsulatum, histoplasma. A lot of polymorphs, these kind of branchings and hyphae and spores. So fungal, as I said, polymorphs, necrosis, giant cell, and always look for negative impressions or stained spores and hyphae, and you will get fungal lesions very easily. Parasitic lesions. This is filaria, very easy to find, something known as the filarial dance sign you all must have read. Then these are membranes of Cysticercus, and if you go to a higher power, here you can see a hooklet, and this is best seen in AFB stain, or you can look for a negative imprint on routine Leishman staining. So these things can confuse you with presence of a artifactual change, especially the hooklet. This over here can confuse you with maybe, if it is somewhere in this neck region over here with colloid, patchy colloid, or some sort of a mucoid secretion. This is not necrosis. I've shown you necrosis, so keep that in mind. This is not necrosis. This can confuse you, this membrane-like material can confuse you with the patchy thyroid material, or it can, if it is in the neck, or it can confuse you with any other secretion or mucoid material, but this is actually membrane. So clinical history over here and ultrasound findings are very important. Finally, these viral changes, the Zank smear protocol where you see these giant cells. Then of course these EBV induced large atypical cells. This is a owl's eye Hodgkin cell, and these are coilocytes. I read a very interesting article where it told you the difference between glycogenated changes in the epithelium of the squamous cell and the coilocyte. This irregular wrinkly kind of a halo around a dense pycnotic nucleus, this is coilocyte, and this is normal without any coilocytic change. And this a very smooth, regular, around a proper large nucleus. This is not a collocyte, this is glycogenic changes. Okay. So this is a very short video. My references are from Google Images and publications. My aim here was just to show you what different infective things, material you can come across on a FNAC slide, and then to try and develop a thought process how you will rule out various lesions. So I hope this is a very short cytopathology video, and I hope it helps, especially the postgraduate students. And thank you so much for making me a 700 plus strong family. I hope I can keep giving you better content as time passes by. And I'm trying to make my videos as short as possible so that you don't have to spend too much time. This is just a discussion video just to refresh your mind, maybe just to lead you to think. And I'm of course always open to questions. You can contact me on Messenger and start discussing whatever cases you have, and I'll try to the best of my ability to answer as much as I could, as I can. I'm sorry. So thank you so much.